Hi, I'm Beth from Sew Country, and today's tutorial is from the designer Magic Flying Boots, and I'm working on the Willow Herb wristlet. Now this is going to be a free pattern, but I'm taking some liberties and doing a couple things differently. In the pattern, she gives you a breakdown set of instructions for how to do the iris fold technique. This is a technique I really want to learn, but I haven't done it before and I'm not going to today. I'm trying to get some last minute Christmas gifts ready, and so I'm sticking with simple, easy patterns and techniques to get myself ready for the holidays. So I do plan on learning that technique, and I will come back and do another video on that technique, but it's not today. The designer gave me permission to do this video, and I thought it was a great one for a free wristlet or pouch. I'm making mine as a pouch, but you could definitely make it as a wristlet, just to keep us inspired, keep us motivated to make quick gifts without breaking our budget. So the things I'm going to do a little bit differently is, like I said, I'm not doing the cutout with the iris fold technique, but I am going to show you a couple different ways to use the template in this pattern. This pattern has a heart template, but if you go on her website, she has so many different options for free templates to make this wristlet. There is several Christmas ones, so now's a perfect time to go look at the Christmas options. You can use that technique not only in this wristlet, but also as placemats, table runners, even as a feature on a tote bag. It's just a really cool, unique look. So definitely check out the pattern and all the templates that are free. So let's go ahead and start talking about what I'm doing with my version. I'm going to be sewing up two pouches in this video. One pouch is going to be completely with a cotton woven material. The only thing I have right now is I just have everything interfaced with a medium weight interfacing. I have two pieces cut out for my lining, and then I have two pieces for my exterior. I also have one piece that is uninterfaced. On this uninterfaced piece, I went ahead and used the template and I drew out that heart shape. I'm going to sew directly on that line, and then I'm going to turn that out, and I'm going to figure out what I'm going to put underneath this heart. I haven't decided yet, but I want to show you how to do this technique and make a really cute pouch with just some cotton woven that you have at your house, no special materials. Now the second one I'm using is going to be a little bit fancier. I'm using this glow in the dark vinyl. This is from My Little Shindig. On the back side of the pouch, I use that template to cut out a heart out of black jelly vinyl. You can also get that from My Little Shindig as well. I'm just simply going to sew this heart on. So that is the back side of the pouch. For the front side, I did it reverse and I cut the heart out of the vinyl, and I will put the black behind it this way, and then I will just stitch around here, trim up the extra, and then that will be the front, this will be the back, and this will be the lining. So two different, well actually three, so 1, 2, and then the cotton woven will be the third. And like I said, I could put jelly behind here, but I don't think I will. I think I'll figure something else to put behind that one after we get it cut out. This is what the materials I'll be using to make this. Like I said, I'm not making mine into a wristlet. Mine's just going to be a pouch. I'm going to put some candy in it, and it'll be cute little gifts. But I will need 2 pieces of zipper tape. I'm using zipper tape from Sew Majestic, as well as 2 heart pulls from Sew Majestic as well. And then I am just going to take this vinyl and rough cut, not measuring anything, some ends for these zipper tabs. Super simple, super quick, and I think it'll make really cute, unique little gifts to give to people for the holidays without making me super stressed out. So those are the pieces we need. Let's go ahead and get right into this tutorial. For my first one, like I said, I'm going to take one piece of this material. This is interfaced with my Royal Pixie Light, which is a medium weight interfacing, so you can use SF101. And I'm just going to lay this uninterfaced piece that I've transferred that template onto right sides together. I'm going to stitch directly on that line. With this one, I'm going to make sure, take the time to center this heart directly on to my piece of vinyl. I'm going to use some of my Beacon 3-in-1 glue, just a little bit, and just to get it to kind of stick down so it won't be shifting in place once I have it centered on there. Then I will stitch around slowly. Whenever I'm stitching around curves, I'm going to shorten my stitch length so I can have a better shape of stitches around these curves. So I will probably go down to a 3, maybe a little under a 3, where my normal stitch length is about 3.5 to 4. I also will leave my thread tails long. I won't back stitch, I'll pull them long. And so then at the end, what I'll do is I will pull them back and knot them off to kind of secure them instead of back stitching. I'm going to do the same thing pretty much with this one. This one will be a little bit easier because I have, like, it won't shift as much and I won't have to worry like about this shifting. This one won't shift. And so I will just stitch on the vinyl, again, keeping my stitch length shortened and my tails long. So let's go ahead and get started doing those 3 steps first. So I used the pattern piece and drew out like the heart template, and so I'm going to go ahead and get this kind of, not like really glued down, but just kind of tacked down a little bit so it won't be shifting while I'm sewing, and then I'll let that dry and sew the other things while it's drying. I'm not using a lot of glue. I really don't even know, honestly, how this glue is going to do on this jelly, so I'm just putting a very little bit. It might show through. It might kind of make the jelly a little odd, you know, kind of warp it a little, so I don't want to use a lot just in case. This is just going to be a little bit for sure. Okay, I'm going to try to center that the best I can. And I think what I'll do is I'll lay this face down. It'll be flat while it's drying. And I'm going to go ahead and stitch up these 2 things while that's drying, and then I'll stitch up that. I'm going to go ahead and shorten my stitch length and start sewing. I always get a little nervous, like I'll be extremely slow going around here. I am using a black thread, so it'll probably blend in a little bit better, but I do get anxious. I'm not the best sewist, so you'll see me going slow. Well, I'll speed it up so you won't see, but just know I'm going slow on this. Okay, the heart one is done. That's the easiest one because the stitches won't show. So that one's done first. Now let's go ahead and do this one. I'm going to start by getting my tails really long on my thread. I'm not back stitching. I'll be pulling those tails through. I'm going to start, let's start right here in this black area, and it's a little bit straighter, so that's where I'm going to start stitching, and then I'll just slowly go around and hope I don't mess it up. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and pulling those threads back to the back side, since I didn't back stitch. That way whenever I go, I'll just go like 1 or 2 stitches past this. It's easier to do it this way, to have those threads kind of out of the way. And I'm just going to pull them here to the middle so whenever I sew it won't go over them again, and kind of lock them in place. Okay, and now I'm just going to lift up my needle. I'm not using my automatic cutter because, like I said, I want those threads left long. Let's go ahead and get that other one pulled through. And I'm just going to tie these off. After you make a double or triple knot, you can just trim them then. So it's not perfect, but I think it looks good. When you use a shorter stitch length, you don't have as pretty as a stitch for top stitching, but I felt like that was the best choice since I was going around curves. It's not horribly bad. It's just not a skill that I'm really good at, and so I need to practice it. Now I'm just trimming down this back. I want to make sure that I don't trim the vinyl, the jelly, so that it has like sharp points, because it could possibly rub up against the lining and create enough friction to cause like degradation in the fabric, like maybe start a hole. I don't think it would, but I'm just going to be cautious with it. So you can see it's a little bit of sharp edge. I'm just going to kind of soften that edge up. Trim a little more on this side. I got a little too close at the bottom. Don't get that close like I did. It's okay. It won't be a big deal, but just don't do that. I shouldn't have done that. So now that part's done. Let's go ahead and grab this last one to do. I did a little bit worse on this one. It's okay. I just had a little bit of trouble, and even on the bottom I accidentally was trying to stitch at that pivot point and actually went too fast and went a stitch past the pivot point. So a little frustrating there, but it's okay. We'll get it fixed out here. It won't look horrible. It's just, you know how you want perfection always. So not horribly bad. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to knot those threads and trim them up just like I did on the last one. We're going to have to cut through all the layers to make the heart. So let's do that. Go ahead and get that started, because I will take it off camera. And I just started cutting the middle. I don't even pay any attention to that part because I want to open it back up to go very slow. I want to give myself about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance all the way around. And then I'm going to trim, and then I will even come back in with the snips and make little notches in the curves and things to kind of help it to spread easier. And then I'll push this piece through and iron it flat. Then I will decide what I want to be the backing for this piece. I have no idea right now at the moment. Okay, so I have that cut. So let's just go in and make a few snips. Don't get too close to your stitches, of course. We don't want to cut through them. Just so whenever I push this through, it'll spread a little bit easier. Come down and cut into that pivot area. I'm going to go across there to kind of get rid of some of that extra bulk on that spot too. So what you do then is you just push this through, and it's going to take a little while to finagle it. So you'll have to just go slow since there's some curves. Take it over the ironing board, iron everything out. But your main goal is to, and like if it's still pulling right here, it just means I need to go closer to those stitches, just like with a zipper box. And then what I'll do is I will take my time so that I don't see any of that piece I just sewed on. And I use the same material specifically, so if I did, it wouldn't be very noticeable. But I'll just take the time, press this flat, get everything to go, and then when I go to the iron, it'll be able to iron it flat and it'll be fine. It'll look really cute. Make sure you take the time to poke out that little top peak for the heart shape, or it won't look like a heart. Okay, I need to come in on this peak a little bit more. I can't find the stiletto I like. It's missing somehow, so I'll have to go slow and use this one that's not as good as my other one, but I just really need to get that point poked out a little bit more. Okay, that's looking much better. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take it over the ironing board, iron that flat, and figure out what material I want behind it, and I'll come back and we'll finish on making the pouch. I went ahead and pressed the heart open, and I grabbed a piece of cotton woven polka dot. I left it uninterfaced, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stitch all the way around that heart, and then I will baste all the way around this piece to make this all one unit. I'm keeping my stitch length short again on this one, but on this one I'm just going to back stitch one time. Since it's a cotton woven, I feel like it won't be as noticeable as if it was with the vinyl. So I got this taken care of, and it is completely like one unit, so that is done. You could do this same thing for the back of this pouch, but I'm just going to leave mine plain. So this will be the front of the one pouch. This will be the back of the other. This will be front of one pouch, and then the other one will be just plain. Now, for me, I'm just keeping these simple little pouches, so I'm not adding any fleece or interfacing or any other stabilizer like that. If you wanted to, you could use fleece. You could even use a foam, whatever you want to do on those, especially if you are making them as a wristlet. You might want to bulk up the interfacing a little bit. But for me, I have my exteriors, I have my linings for both the pouches, and I'm going to pull out the zipper tape and the 2 zipper pulls. I'm going to put them on, then we'll sew on the zipper tabs, and we'll just go ahead and get these pouches made. Some quick Christmas gifts that will be super cute and won't take me a lot of time. Like I said, for the zipper tabs, I'm just using some raw edge vinyl. I'm just going to slip the zipper tape in there, and then I'll top stitch across with an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. You could definitely use a cotton woven if you do not have vinyl, and fold it the traditional way, like a piece of double fold tape to tuck in the raw edges so everything looks neat and clean on that. Or if you want it to be just a different print, like this doesn't really match this one, but I felt like it was okay, so I'm leaving it like that. I didn't measure the zipper tabs, I just rough cut them, and so after I get through top stitching, I will trim up the edges on them. Now let's sew an 1/8 of an inch away from the raw edge on the zipper tabs, making sure we do lock in our stitches once we get onto the zipper tape. Okay, let's pull out the front exterior on both of these pieces. I want my zippers closing to the left, so I will have it orientated that way. We want the zipper to be centered onto the front, and then we just flip it down, right sides together. Add a few clips, and then we're going to grab a lining piece and flip it right sides together with the exterior, making that zipper sandwich, aligning the edges, clipping in place. So there is one zipper sandwich. Let's go ahead and do the other one with the vinyl, flipping it, centering it, flipping, and adding the lining. I'm going to sew both of these with the seam allowance given in the pattern from one edge to the other, making sure I lock in the stitches. Then I will flip these wrong sides together and then top stitch right under the zipper tape, just like you would any other typical pouch we're sewing. Okay, so this is what I have, the exteriors and the linings. Everything looks great. We are going to repeat those same steps for the remaining back and lining and the remaining exterior back and lining for both of these pouches. So when I come back, we'll have those steps done and we'll get ready to finish up the pouch. Okay, so I have everything attached. I went ahead and opened my zippers up just a little bit. Everything's top stitch, looks great. Here's the fronts, and then that's how the lining looks. Now what you do is, if you've sewed pouches before, this is just the typical way you do it. You're going to put your exteriors together and then your linings together. Now, could you box the corners on these? Sure, you sure could do that, but we're going to keep these, like I said, simple pouch, and we're not doing that. I'm going to clip around a little bit. When I get to my zipper tabs, I'm going to push them so that they go to the lining, and that's how I'll kind of sew over them, with them kind of pushed that way, and my seams will be matched up right there. I want to make sure that I do not catch these zipper tabs in my seam allowance, and so that they don't get dented and they'll pop out really, really nice after we're through sewing. Also, I am going to leave an opening in my lining, just maybe 4 or 5 inches to get your hand through there to turn it, and that's how we'll turn that. And then we will turn these, close up the lining hole, and we're done. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to sew around with the seam allowance given the pattern. I'll start here at the lining, and like I said, I'm going to leave the opening in the lining, so I'll start closer to the edge there, and we're going to sew all the way around, then come back leaving that opening in the lining, using the seam allowance given, not going over my zipper tabs, pivoting at the corners, all those things. So now I have everything stitched together, so I'm just going to go through the opening and turn these right sides out. I'll tell you what I might do is I might just trim off a little bit at the angle on the corners, but that's it. I'm not going to trim anything else down, and that'll just help to reduce some of the bulk in the corners. But I really don't feel like it's extremely necessary. Okay, I have my 2 pouches turned right sides out. I lost my stilettos somewhere in my sewing room, and it is driving me crazy. Like, I have other ones, but I have a favorite stiletto that I like to use. And so poking out my corners was quite challenging because I don't have my favorite stiletto. So I have to look for that. Anyway, I still need to close up that turning hole, and then I need to press the cotton woven one, and then the vinyl. What I like to do is and it's not super bad, but where they get a little puffy, I like to put them under heavy books and just kind of let the weight kind of flatten it a little bit, but it's fine. They're super cute, no problems at all. So let's close up the holes in both of these, and then we're completely done with our adorable pouches. So, like I said, the materials that I'm using in both of these pouches are from My Little Shindig. They do have a monthly subscription club, so that every month they send you just the matching coordinates to your house, and then they send a pattern with it to kind of motivate you or inspire you on different things they think you could do with the coordinating prints. This is the December shipment, and it's kind of geared towards Valentine's Day because they always work a little bit ahead so that you have materials in time for when you need them, so you're not waiting last minute. The pattern is from Magic Flying Boots. This is the Willow Herb Wristlet. If you wanted to add the wristlet strap, you would just add the D-ring connector before you sewed the exteriors and linings together. You could also just use a zipper tab that had a hole in it, like a donut hole or pop tab pull, and then you could attach your wristlet that way. Okay, got those? Let's sew these up. Whenever I sew an opening closed in the lining, I just do it 1/8 of an inch away. But I do make sure that the seams are straight first. Back stitch, definitely lock in those stitches. Let's trim up those threads and then push the lining back inside, and we're done with 2 more Christmas gifts from another free pattern. I love using free patterns, so definitely check out all the links in the description. Look at that, how cute. So I'm going to iron that, press it flat, because I like it to be kind of flat, but everything looks great. It's such a cute little pouch. I'll probably put candy in there, but you could also do like gift cards or like lotions or lip balm, whatever you want to give. Even if you make your own cookies, that would be cute to put in there in like a plastic bag or something. So thank you guys so much for joining me in another tutorial. I really appreciate it. And I want to thank the designer for letting me do this tutorial. I hope to do more from her. I hope to do the other technique that she has, the iris fold, and try that out too. But definitely look at her website, and I hope you guys are able to create something beautiful, fun, something to give to someone you care about in your sewing room today. Let me know if you have any suggestions for other free patterns. I really like to sew up free patterns on the channel. I think it's a great way to get to know a designer. So let me know if you have any favorite free patterns that you like to use. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.